Welcome back, you're watching Morning Live, which today is coming to you live from Milton Keynes in England. You're watching our Rugby World Cup update. So we've gotten you up to speed with what's happening in the Springbok camp. Let's take a look at what we can expect when it comes to fixtures. There's just one Rugby World Cup fixture tonight, and that is the world champions New Zealand facing Tonga. Now, Tonga, if they win this, they can secure automatic qualification for Japan 2019, and that's definitely something that they will be looking out for. But Georgia will be hoping that they are unable to do that against the All Blacks. Then tomorrow, Samoa up against Scotland, a very important one for the Scots. Although Japan will be hoping that Samoa do them a favour, because if Scotland lose to Samoa, that will then open the way for Japan to clinch a quarter-final spot. Australia versus Wales, that's a Pool A match that South Africa will be very, very interested in actually seeing what happens there. You'll be able to catch the Samoa-Scotland match on SABC 2 at 3 p.m, so you can just jot that down in your diary. While we've actually been here, we actually rolled into Milton Keynes just yesterday from rugby, and it's a young city, it's a young town. It's not really like what we've seen in many of the other places that we've been to. However, there's one of the most important historical sites in terms of global history in this area, and that is Bletchley Park. It is a site that's dedicated to the code breakers and the decipherers of the Allied forces during World War II. It's very, very interesting. Made famous, you'll remember the movie, Oscar-winning movie, Imitation Game. They filmed a part of it actually there, and they do celebrate the film there, but that's just one part of the story. Mac and I were completely enthralled by Bletchley Park, which from London is just a 40-minute train ride.
The story of the German cipher machine Enigma received a lot of publicity.
Where we're standing now is the lake where many of the code breakers and decipherers used to have some downtime. Beyond the lake, you can see that iconic building of Bletchley Park, the mansion which looks out at it. And Mac, having been in some of those rooms, you can understand why they needed some great open spaces just to unwind a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, I think they needed this in terms of bandwidth. They used to work very hard in those rooms. And looking at this lake, in winter it used to be ice, so they use this as more of like a downtime, skating here, making sure that they do relax before they go work again.
What's one thing that really stood out for you?
Well, there's quite a few things. One of the things that I saw in one of the rooms was an African map. Well, I was so shocked just to see that. But the iconic building just behind us there, with exactly the same material that they used to use then, architectural style and material, I think it was just out of this world.
I think something that's really stood out for me is the fact that the first time that they ever knew what happened here at Bletchley Park was in 1974, well after the war was done. And much like what they were doing here at the time, they were uncoding secrets. Many of the history and what really happened here at Bletchley Park at the site will never ever be known.
Yeah, history.
While credit is given to Alan Turing and the brilliant code breakers at Bletchley Park, there were also other unsung heroes. Polish mathematicians, led by RWC, broke the Enigma code first and shared their secrets with the Allies. If it was not for them, World War II could have ended completely differently, and the Germans may have even won.
Welcome back. We are the Absa Red Bus. Absa, a member of Barclays, is parked outside of Stadium MK. Bletchley Park, certainly an absolutely brilliant tourist attraction to go and visit, and not something that you just have to see when you're here in Milton Keynes, but I think for England, really a national asset. When we got into Milton Keynes, the very first place we had to go was, of course, to Stadium MK, which hosted 3 Rugby World Cup matches. Stadium MK hosted 3 Rugby World Cup matches where the winners in those clashes were Fiji, France, as well as Japan. Now, I wonder, Mac, if those teams were standing on this side of the tunnel before they actually ran out. It says, tough times never last, but tough people do. It's amazing to be here at the home ground of MK Dons.
Well, I've ran through the tunnel for a rugby game and all that stuff, but I've never really just done it in terms of the pitch, the soccer pitch. And I'm sure it's going to be a very great experience, because I know it's probably going to be the closest that you've ever come.
Yes.
Let's go.
Running through that tunnel was an amazing feeling. You see it often on the television screens and you really do come into the lights. It's a great feeling. But here at Stadium MK, These seats on the bench are so nice. I think I might find my place just here, Mac.
No, Vaylen. The groundsmen, they're looking after the pitch all the time. They're here 24/7 and they're cutting the lawn, preparing for the players to go out and experiment this. So I really think that let's go and feel it. Paul Ains, the former English captain, used to coach here, and then straight after that it was Di Matteo who coached here as well, and we know exactly what happened to him. He went all the way to coach the Premiership team.
The capacity here at Stadium MK is 30,700 and they broke all attendance records when it comes to the Rugby World Cup. The very first pool match involving France and Canada, they had over 28,000 people. The next match, they broke it again, over 29,000. And then the final match was Uruguay up against Fiji, and once again, they broke the record. Yeah, 30,048 people packed in here. And you know, according to the guys from Stadium MK, they say that they don't think that record is going to be broken anytime soon, because on average they get about 10,000 spectators to watch MK Dons at home.
Power of rugby.
A great visit here yesterday, and I'm so glad to actually be in the stadium. Once again, I've made my way outside of our ABSA Red bus, and I'm now standing alongside the CEO of MK Dons set, Mr. John Cove. Very good morning to you and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning to you as well. It's great to be on your show.
Thank you so much for inviting us in here. It was amazing to see this young stadium. It's a young city, young club, young stadium, and you guys have managed to do so much.
Yes, we've been here just over 10 years now. We started from scratch almost with this new stadium. It's a fantastic build, opened by the Queen in 2007, seats 30,000 people, has an arena on the other end and a hotel built into it to give it a much more sustainable model. But it's a very young city. We're 50 years old in 2017. Come a long way in that time. Over 250,000 people live in here, and we'll be England's 10th biggest city by the year 2030.
It's very, very interesting, obviously, because most of the places that we go, there's this wonderful synergy between the new and the old, and you don't get that really coming here.
We get it in bits here. So we've got things like the Roman Villa. The original Roman road comes right through the town, so there's Roman villas and Roman remains here. We've got Bletchley Park, as your package just showed. So there is some history here, but what we've got is some fabulous new places as well, and lots of people coming here, actually being pioneers to come and live in this town. And there's lots of things we do perhaps differently that you wouldn't find anywhere else in England. So this sort of stadium is a symbol of that, really, and what we've been able to achieve.
When you say that you guys do things a little bit differently, you also have a big focus on women's football and development here at the club.
Yeah, an important part of bringing the club here was to look at the community. So we deliver projects in health, social inclusion, sport, of course, in football and education. But we have a women's team that this year finished runners-up in the league. So 20 teams for people with a disability. So what we're trying to do is really be inclusive throughout the whole community and make a real impact with every person and make a real difference to their lives.
Just how important is MK Dons to the city?
It's really crucial. I mean, what this Rugby World Cup's done for the city is fantastic. It's really part of Team MK. We've got lots of things going on here that make it really attractive. We want people to come and see our city. We want people to come and visit. It's really convenient for lots of places, but there's really lots to do in Milton Keynes. And the stadium's been central to that.
You said that there's been a massive financial impact as well for Milton Keynes.
Yeah, well, the stadium itself brought in £500 million of inward investment and 4,000 jobs, as well as producing a stadium like this. And we've got some of the world's best shops around the stadium. It's a destination in its own right now. And we'll be here for many years to come, hopefully, when we'll be playing in the Premiership and perhaps in Europe.
All right, thank you very much. That's the CEO of MK Dons set, Mr. John Cove. Thank you very much for chatting to us here on Morning Live and for inviting us into Stadium MK. It's been really a great visit. You guys hosted a brilliant Rugby World Cup matches, record attendances each time when you guys hosted the 3 matches. That's how we come to the end of this morning's broadcast. Tomorrow we're still in Milton Keynes, but you got to tune in to see just exactly what Mac and I are going to be up to. Until then, goodbye.